Good morning, my dear friend. The first light of day is gently rising. The world is still quiet, wrapped in the soft hush of early dawn. It is a sacred time when the sun has not fully claimed the sky, and the noise of the day has yet to take hold. In this gentle stillness, your heart has awakened once again. Maybe you stirred before the alarm. Maybe you sat up in bed with that weight still pressing on your chest, the one you carried into your sleep, hoping it would disappear by morning. But it did not. It is still there, and you are here, searching for something more than just a routine prayer. You are reaching for hope that does not fade with the daylight. Maybe you have been walking through a season that feels like silence. A loved one is gone, and the H does not soften. The diagnosis came, and the fear won't release its grip. The job fell through. The relationship ended. The dream collapsed. And now, you are left sitting in the in-between, not where you were, not where you thought you would be. Life has asked questions you do not have answers to. Your soul whispers, "What now?" I want you to know you are not alone. Somewhere, someone else is waking up with tears on their pillow and prayers half formed in their chest. They do not know how to say the words, but they know they need help. Someone is sitting quietly on the edge of their bed, asking God for a reason to keep going. And maybe that someone is you. But what if this quiet moment, this simple breath you are taking right now, was more than just another morning? What if it was a divine invitation? Not to fix everything at once, not to force yourself to be strong, but to sit in sacred stillness and begin a deeper conversation, one where your soul gets to speak honestly, one where God leans in, listens closely, and begins to stir hope from the ashes. You see, faith is not about pretending everything is okay. It is about believing that even when nothing makes sense, there is still a God who knows what he is doing. Prayer is not a performance. It is a place, a shelter, a bridge between your weakness and God as strength. It does not require perfect words. It only asks for an open heart. This morning, I want to walk with you into that sacred space, not with loud declarations, but with steady trust, not with rushed answers, but with quiet surrender. Wherever you are, in your car, in your kitchen, still wrapped in a blanket, let this be more than just a listening experience. Let it be the beginning of something holy, a sacred journey of trust that will meet you exactly where you are. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to feel brave. You only need to begin right here. Right now, let your soul be still. Let your heart be honest, and let your spirit begin to speak. This is your moment. This is your invitation, not to understand the entire path, but to take the first step into the presence of the one who already sees the end from the beginning. Welcome to the place where trust is born in the quiet. Welcome to the place where prayer becomes breath. Welcome to the conversation that just might change everything. Dear Heavenly Father, the morning light is here, but everything still feels dim. My eyes are open, but my heart feels heavy. I woke up today not with excitement, but with questions. I do not know what this day holds. I do not know if I am strong enough for it. I carry a weight I can name, a quiet fear that lingers even in the stillness of this early hour. I feel like I am standing at the edge of something uncertain, looking out over a fog that refuses to lift. I bring that fog to you now. I do not try to make sense of it. I do not pretend to understand it. I just lay it before you, raw and unfiltered. I woke up with worry pressing on my chest. I woke up wondering if anything will change, if breakthrough will ever come, if peace will ever stay. I do not need a grand moment right now. I just need to know you are close. I just need to know you see me. I need to know that in this silent space between where I have been and where I am going, I am not alone. You know what I carried into this day. You saw me last night, trying to calm my racing thoughts, trying to silence the voice that tells me it is always going to be like this. You saw the tears I blinked away before anyone else could notice. You heard the prayer I whispered into my pillow, the one I was not even sure you were listening to. And yet here I am, breathing, waking, trying again. I do not feel brave, but I am still here. I do not feel strong, but I am still showing up. That has to count for something. Maybe trust does not always look like a bold declaration. Maybe sometimes it just looks like choosing to open my eyes, swing my feet over the edge of the bed, and say, God, I need you today. So here I am, Father, needing you, not for a show, not for a perfect response, just for the steady truth that you are still holding me, that you have not walked away, that you still have a plan for me even when I do not see a way through. I want to trust you with this day. I want to give you the things I can't carry. I want to let go of the pressure to figure it all out before noon. I surrender my morning anxiety, the way my mind runs ahead to every possible outcome. I surrender my need for control, my habit of trying to prepare for every unexpected moment. I surrender the way I judge myself for still struggling, still questioning, still wondering if I am doing enough. Being enough? Praying enough. You know, I am tired of trying to prove my worth in quiet ways that no one sees. You know, I need more than surface strength. I need something deeper, something real. Speak into my unknowns. Father, I may not hear you out loud, but quiet my soul enough to feel your presence. Remind me that not knowing what is next does not mean I am failing. It just means I am human, and you are still God. You are still the one who sees the end from the beginning. You are still the one who knows how to weave purpose through all this uncertainty. So while I wait, while I wonder, while I move through this day without a clear picture, help me to trust that you are writing a better one. Help me to breathe slowly when fear starts to rise. Help me to walk gently through this day, not racing to fix what only you can. Help me to notice the beauty I often miss because I am too focused on what is missing. A smile, a quiet moment. The way light hits the floor remind me that even here, even now, you are near, not in the answer, but in the process, not only in the miracle, but in the moments that feel too small to matter. If this is a day of waiting, help me to wait with hope. If this is a day of quiet, help me to find peace in the silence. If this is a day of challenges, help me to face them without pretending, without performing, just by leaning on you. I do not have to be the strongest person in the room. I just have to trust the one who walks beside me through every room I enter. I do not know how this day will end, but I know you are in it. And maybe that is enough for now. Maybe I do not need clarity as much as I need closeness. Maybe I do not need answers as much as I need awareness that you have not left me. You never did. Even on the days when I stopped talking to you, you stayed. Even when I let fear drown out faith, you did not stop calling me back to yourself. So I am coming back to that place now. The quiet place, the sacred place, the place where I do not have to explain myself or impress anyone. The place where I get to simply be your child. This is my starting point today, not my performance, not my strength, but my surrender. This is where I begin. I step into this day without pretending to be ready. I am not, but I step anyway. Because I believe you are. Ready to carry what I can't see, ready to heal what still hurts, ready to work in ways I do not yet see. I choose to trust you in this unknown. I choose to believe that nothing is wasted in your hands. Even this aching morning, this trembling prayer, it all belongs to you. You are the God of quiet mornings and unanswered questions, the God of tears and trembling hope, the God who stays. And if you are still with me, then maybe this unknown day is not the enemy I feared. Maybe it is the very soil where trust begins to grow. God, I come to you still carrying the weight of everything I cannot fix. The unknowns I brought to you have not disappeared. The fog did not lift just because I named it. And though I am still standing, still breathing, there is something deeper I need to bring before you today. Something raw. Something I have hidden beneath the layers of survival. I do not want to hold it back anymore. I do not want to dress it up or downplay it. I want to bring it to you exactly as it is: messy, loud, aching, honest, because you are not afraid of my cries. You are not offended by my questions. You do not turn away when my voice trembles, or when my heart breaks in a way I can no longer control. So I want to pretend in your presence. I want to whisper when my soul is screaming. I want to filter what is already overflowing inside me. Father, why does it still hurt so much? Why does peace feel so far? Even though I try to believe, why do the things I prayed for seem to keep slipping further away instead of drawing closer? I have tried to be strong, tried to smile, tried to keep going, but behind every moment of composure, there is a part of me that is crying out. Where are you in this, God? I know you have not left. I know you hear me. But today, I am not here to recite what I know. I am here to release what I feel. The fear I carry in my chest like a second heartbeat. The grief that creeps in when no one's looking. The disappointment I push down because I do not want it to become bitterness. I am tired of pretending that faith means never feeling pain. I am tired of holding back my sorrow because I thought it made me look weak. So I am choosing to trust you with my honesty. I am placing everything unspoken on the altar of your grace. The regret I never talk about. The anger I do not understand. The prayers that felt ignored. The days I barely made it through. You see all of it. Every tear, every scream behind my silence, every hope I was afraid to hold, and you stay. You are still the same God who met Hagar in the wilderness when no one else came looking for her. You are still the same God who wept beside Mary before, calling Lazarus back to life. You do not dismiss emotion. You draw near to it. You do not ask me to sanitize my soul before coming to you. You ask me to come as I am, even when I feel like a storm. So here it is, Lord, the full flood of everything I have been carrying in pieces. I am tired of being strong for everyone else. I am tired of bottling the ache and labeling it endurance. I do not want to impress you with false peace. I want to invite you into the real battle happening inside me. I have tried to silence the parts of me that hurt the most, but they still cry out when everything else is quiet. I have tried to talk myself out of sorrow, but my soul knows better. It knows the value of being honest before you. It knows that breakthrough begins not with perfection, but with vulnerability. So I will not hold back today. I will not shrink my pain to fit someone else's comfort. I will let it rise, because you already see it anyway. I do not need to apologize for feeling broken. I do not need to explain why the sadness still shows up even when I am surrounded by blessings. I do not need to justify my weariness when the weight keeps piling up. You are the God of truth, and truth is what I offer you now, not a perfect prayer, but a real one. Help me find you in this flood. Father, help me hear your voice above the noise of my H. Even if you do not change the circumstances today, change the way I carry them. Let your presence hold what my hands can tee. Let your spirit speak the words I am too tired to form. I am not looking for quick answers or forced peace. I am looking for the comfort of knowing that you are here, in the crying, in the raw and restless spaces where I do not know how to move forward, in the echo of prayers that feel unanswered, in the places where my heart has grown tired from hoping. Even now, in the midst of my tears, I believe you are listening, not because I feel it, but because I know who you are. You are the God who leans in when others back away, the one who collects every tear and holds it sacred, the one who does not need polished words to draw close. So draw near to me now, not because I have earned it, but because I need it, not because I have the right words, but because my heart is open. I want to measure my worth by my composure. I want to base my closeness to you on how steady I look from the outside. I will come undone in your presence if it means finding healing. And in this place of honesty, I ask you to show me that I am safe here, safe to weep, safe to question, safe to lay it all down. I do not want to keep carrying these wounds alone. I want to give them to you, even if it is one cry at a time. I do not want a faith that hides behind smiles. I want a faith that survives the storm, a faith that is not shaken by sorrow, but strengthened through it. A faith that dares to lift its voice in the valley, even when the mountaintop feels out of reach. So here I am, Lord, not holding anything back, not pretending to be okay. I will not be ashamed of my humanity in the presence of the divine. I will not silence my soul to make others comfortable. I will cry out, not because I am weak, but because I know where my strength comes from. You are the one who welcomes my weeping. You are the one who understands groans that words cannot express. You are the one who stays when the pain feels too big for conversation. So I bring you my unspoken sorrows, and I trust that you already know how to hold them. This is where I begin today, not by hiding the tears, but by letting them fall into the hands of the one who never lets go. Lord, if you are still listening, then I will keep speaking. Even after I poured out the cries from the deepest parts of me, there is still a quiet that lingers, not around me, but within. It is the kind of quiet that settles after the storm of tears, the kind that feels sacred and strange all at once. I am not sure if you are speaking or just sitting with me, but either way, I sense something shifting. Not loud, not visible, but real, a stillness that does not ask me to move, only to remain. I used to think silence meant distance, that if you were not speaking, you were not near, that if I could not feel a response, maybe you had turned away. But here in this hush, after my voice has broken and my heart has emptied, I am learning something else. I am learning that your presence does not always rush in with noise. Sometimes it arrives without words at all. Father, I do not hear answers, but I sense comfort. I do not see signs, but I feel steadiness. I am not sure what you are doing, but for the first time in a while, I am not afraid of the silence. I am not rushing to fill it with my own thoughts. I am not trying to force a reply. I am just letting it be what it is, quiet. And maybe this quiet is not the absence of your voice, but the fullness of it in another form. You are the God who listens without interruption, the one who holds space for every unspoken H. You do not flinch when I bring my questions. You do not withdraw when I run out of words. You remain, and in your stillness, something in me is learning how to rest again. I do not know how to explain it, but the silence feels softer today. Less threatening, less empty, more like a presence than a void. Maybe that is what it has always been. Maybe I was just too used to noise to recognize the nearness that does not shout. I am learning to sit with you without needing you to speak. I am learning to trust that even in the quiet, you are doing more than I can see. So much of my life has been about trying to hear something, feel something, know something. But now, I am beginning to believe that sometimes you just want me to be still and know. Know that you are here. Know that you are working. Know that I do not have to chase you to be near you. You are already here, in the stillness, in the breath, in the space between what I understand and what I surrender. God, help me stay in this moment without rushing past it. Help me not to despise the quiet, but to enter it like holy ground. Help me to let go of the pressure to always be moving, always be achieving, always be certain. Maybe what I need most today is not another breakthrough, but the bravery to wait without anxiety. Maybe the miracle is not the noise of sudden answers, but the peace that blooms in the slow silence. You know how often I fill my days with sound so I feel alone. How I scroll and scroll, not just for distraction, but because quiet can be so uncomfortable. You know how I avoid stillness, because I fear what it might show me about myself. But you are teaching me that stillness is not where I get lost, it is where I get found, not by the world, not by achievements, but by you. You are the silent listener who never misses a heartbeat, the one who does not interrupt or hurry me through my healing. You wait with me, you sit beside me, and in that gentle waiting, I am learning how to be okay with not having everything resolved, with not being done, with not knowing what comes next. I do not need to rush to the next revelation. I just need to remain in the truth that you are with me. Even here, sometimes I wonder how many prayers I have missed hearing, because I was too focused on my own voice. Sometimes I wonder if you have been whispering all along, and I just never made room to hear. I do not want to miss you anymore, Lord. I do not want to drown out the gentle way you move with my constant striving. Teach me how to quiet my heart without silencing my hope. Teach me how to listen, not just for answers, but for you. I am not afraid of the silence if you are in it. I do not need the thunder. I just need the knowing, the gentle assurance that even when nothing changes on the outside, something is forming on the inside. Faith that is less about what I hear and more about what I trust. Trust that does not demand a timeline. Trust that does not require constant reassurance. Trust that sits in the silence and still believes. Let this quiet become a sanctuary. Let it be the place where my soul finds rhythm again, not in frantic prayer, but in surrendered presence. I do not want to treat silence like an enemy anymore. I want to see it as an invitation to lean into you without expecting you to perform. To be with you because you are worth being with, even when the path is unclear. So I breathe deeply now, Lord. I let the stillness cover me like a blanket. I release my need to control the conversation. I let the hush become holy. This is not a void. This is not a punishment. This is a space of love, of waiting, of quiet communion. This is where I learn again that I do not need to hear your voice to know you are good. I do not need a sign to believe you are near. I know you hear me. I know you always have. And now I will learn to hear you too, not in the wind, not in the fire, but in the whisper. The one that does not demand my attention, but waits for my surrender. The one that does not echo loudly, but changes everything quietly. Let me be still enough to notice it. Let me be soft enough to receive it. This is not the end of the conversation. This is the space between my words where you do what only you can. I do not have to understand it to honor it. I just have to be present, and I am right here. Right now, let my stillness be my song today. Let my silence speak of trust. Let my heart remain open even when my lips are closed. You are the listener, and I am learning how to be still in your presence. Father, as I sit with the silence, something unexpected begins to rise, not noise, not clarity, but memory. In the quiet where I thought nothing was happening, I feel the gentle stirring of remembrance, not of what I have lost, but of what you have done. Not of what I fear, but of what you have already carried me through. It is not a loud realization, but a soft one, And yet, it holds so much weight, because maybe trust does not grow in the noise of now. Maybe it deepens in the echo of what has already been. You have been faithful before. I know that. I have seen it. And even when I did not see it clearly at the time, I see it now looking back. The door that closed just in time. The job I did not get led me to something better. The heartbreak that felt like an end, but became the path to healing. The moments I thought I had been forgotten, only to find out you had been preparing something beyond what I imagined. Lord, help me not to forget. Help me not to treat your past faithfulness like a temporary comfort instead of an eternal truth. You are not only good when things feel good. You are good because you are unchanging. And that means the same hands that held me before are still holding me now. The same love that sustained me in the dark is still present in this morning light. I do not want to be someone who forgets how far you have brought me. I do not want to let the weight of today make blind to the miracles behind me. There were nights I did not think I would make it through, and yet here I am. There were seasons when my heart was shattered, and yet somehow it beats with hope again. There were times when provision came at the very last minute, times when peace showed up in places it did not belong, times when you sent the right words through the right person. When I had nothing left, those were not coincidences. They were kindness. They were mercy. They were you. So let my memory become my foundation today. Not just to feel comforted, but to feel grounded. Let every recollection of your goodness remind me that I am not walking to this day without evidence. I am not trusting you blindly. I am trusting you based on history. You have been the God who rescues, the God who restores, the God who holds all things together, even when everything feels like it is falling apart. Sometimes I forget because I move too fast. I chase what is next before I ever thank you for what was. I let fear steal my attention and bury the testimony. But not this morning. This morning I choose to pause and look back, not to live in the past, but to pull strength from it. You were faithful then. You are faithful now. You will be faithful tomorrow. Even in the places I once resented, I see now how you were moving. I see how you protected me from things I begged you for. I see how you slowed me down when I tried to run ahead. I see how you broke things apart so you could build something stronger. I did not understand it then, and I do not need to understand it now to be grateful, because every unanswered prayer that led to something better was love in disguise. Father, let me never get so overwhelmed by today that I forget what you have done in yesterday. Let me tell the stories again, not just to others, but to myself. Let me remind my soul that you have been the God of open doors and quiet rescue. That you have always shown up, even if it did not look the way I expected. That you have never abandoned me, even when I could not feel you. My memory of you is more than nostalgia. It is a testimony. A living reminder that I have been held, and that I am still being held now. I remember how you gave me peace when I did not ask for it. I remember how you softened my heart when it had grown hard. I remember how you whispered through scripture, through a song, through a moment of stillness. When I needed it most, these were not small things. They were sacred, and I honor them today. I carry them with me like lanterns into this new unknown. Help me gather every memory like a stone of remembrance, like the people of Israel who built altars to remind themselves of your power. Help me not to rush past what you have already done in pursuit of what you have not yet done. Help me hold space in my heart for gratitude to take root, not as a reaction, but as a daily posture. Even when things feel uncertain, I can look back and see certainty. Even when fear clouds the path ahead, I can look behind and see clarity. You were there. Every time, in every detail, in every delay, in every detour, you were never absent. Even when I thought you were never late, even when I did not understand the timing. So today, I do not just ask for new things. I thank you for the old ones, for the quiet miracles, for the breath I did not think would return, for the laughter that came after tears, for the friendships that arrived in lonely seasons, for the healing that took longer than I wanted, but deeper than I expected. These are not forgotten chapters. They are sacred pages in the story you are still writing. Let my gratitude be more than words. Let it become trust. Let it become a lens through which I see this day. Let it remind me that if you have been faithful before, then I have every reason to believe you still are. And if you have brought beauty from brokenness before, then even now right here in this fragile place, you are doing it again. I do not need to feel brave when I feel anchored. I do not need to see the future when I can remember the past, because remembering what you have done reminds me of who you are. And that is enough to keep moving forward. Even when I do not know where the next step leads, you have walked with me every mile I did not think I could take. And now, you walk with me still. That is the story I carry into this morning. One of rescue, one of restoration, one of quiet, unshakable faithfulness. Lord, as I remember what you have done in my life, I also begin to see that my story is not isolated. It is not a lone thread hanging in silence. It is woven into something greater, something stretching across generations, across pages of scripture, across the lives of those who have walked with you long before me. And in that awareness, something begins to strengthen inside me. Because I am not the first to feel lost. I am not the first to wait. I am not the first to cry out in the dark and wonder if you still hear. There is comfort in knowing that you have carried others through places I now find myself standing in. You were with Hannah when she poured out her grief in the temple, begging for a child no one thought she would bear. You were with Joseph when he sat alone in prison, accused, forgotten, and yet not abandoned. You were with David when he fled from enemies and penned psalms with trembling hands, clinging to your promises in caves and deserts. You were with Ruth as she walked into a foreign land with nothing but grief and loyalty. Their pain was not wasted. Their waiting was not in vain. And if you were faithful then, surely you will be faithful now. Father, let their stories echo in the chambers of my soul today, not as fairy tales of the past, but as proof of your unchanging nature. These were real people with real fear, real loss, real hope. They did not have a map of the future, and yet they trusted the one who held it. Let that be true of me too. Let their courage become my compass. Let their endurance become the seat of my own. When I feel like my prayers are too broken to reach heaven, remind me of Elijah, who lay beneath a tree and begged to give up. You met him there, not with shame, but with bread and rest. When I feel like I have failed too much to be used again, remind me of Peter, who denied you 3 times and still became a rock upon which you built your church. When I think my sorrow is too deep, remind me of Job, who lost everything and yet declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust him." Their stories speak into my silence. Their faith stretches into my fear. God, thank you for giving me a history of faith to hold on to, not just my own, but the legacy of those who walked before me. Sometimes it is easy to forget that you are not just the God of this moment. You are the God of every generation. You have moved mountains, parted seas, raised the dead, healed the sick, and spoken through storms. And you still do, not always in the ways I expect, but always in ways that shape eternity. Let me not be so consumed by what I lack that I miss the richness of what I already carry, the stories passed down through pages and whispers, the quiet testimonies of grandmothers who prayed through suffering, the journals of saints who clung to you through loss and came out on the other side with deeper peace. These are not just memories, they are anchors. They are reminders that I am part of something much bigger than what I feel right now. When I feel weak, help me remember Moses, who doubted his voice, and yet you used it to deliver a nation. When I feel unseen, help me remember the bleeding woman, who reached out in a crowd and found healing in the hem of your garment. When I feel forgotten, help me remember the thief on the cross, who in his final breath was remembered by the Son of God. These stories are not distant. They are alive in me. They are testimonies written in blood and grace, passed down like sacred inheritance. Let me carry them today like armor. Let them speak louder than my doubt when my own words run dry. Let theirs remind me what is true. You are still the God who parts impossible waters. You are still the one who breathes life into dry bones. You are still the same God who saw a shepherd boy and called him king. And if you saw them, you see me. If you called them, you are calling me. Sometimes, I measure my progress by how much I can produce or accomplish, but these stories remind me that faith is not always loud. Sometimes it is a quiet decision to stay, to keep believing, to get up one more time, to trust again even when nothing changes. They remind me that obedience in the unseen is still obedience, that waiting in the quiet is still holy. Father, let my story also become one of these someday. Not perfect, not polished, but honest and faithful. Let me live in a way that others coming behind me can find strength in the path I walked. Let me be faithful with what I carry now, even if it feels small, even if it feels unfinished, because I know you are writing something greater through it. Help me walk today with the awareness that I am surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, not watching to judge, but cheering me on. Saints who once stood where I now stand, who doubted, wrestled, trusted, and triumphed Let that truth quiet the voice that says, I am alone. I am not. You have always placed me within a story much larger than mine. And if today all I can do is remember, then let that remembering be sacred. Let it guide me back to trust, back to hope, back to you. You are the author of every story worth telling, and you are still writing mine. I may not see the full picture yet, but I can trace your fingerprints through every chapter that came before. Let the faith of those who came before me awaken my own. Let their trust rise up in me like breath in dry lungs. Let their endurance become my encouragement, because if you were faithful then, you are faithful now. And if you walk them through fire and flood, I can believe that you will walk me through this too. One step, one breath, one prayer at a time. Father, as I walk through the weight of memory and the strength that comes from those who have walked before me, I feel something else begin to rise. Not in the form of clarity, not in the form of answers, but in the shape of peace. A kind of peace that does not demand to know what happens next. A peace that feels like breath in the middle of questions. A quiet confidence that even without resolution, I am still held. I used to think peace only came when problems disappeared, that I had to wait until the storm passed, until the diagnosis changed, until the door opened. But you are showing me something different. That peace is not the reward after the struggle. Peace can be the companion inside it. It can arrive before the answer. It can steady me even when nothing makes sense. Lord, I confess that I have often traded my peace for control. I have gripped outcomes so tightly that I could not feel your hand anymore. I have convinced myself that if I just planned better, performed better, prayed better, I would finally feel calm. But peace does not come through striving. It comes through surrender. Not because the pain is gone, but because you are still present. I do not need to understand everything to experience peace. I only need to remember who you are. You have never abandoned me. Not once. And if you have held me in the chaos, you can hold me now, not because everything around me is calm, but because you are calm. You are steady. You are unshaken. And when I lean into you, I become steady too. This morning, I release the inner storm. The overthinking, the second guessing, the tight grip I keep around the future. I release the fear of what I can't control, and I welcome the peace of the one who controls everything. I find it in more effort. I discover it by rehearsing worst-case scenarios. I will find it when I lay everything down and say, God, I trust you more than I trust what I see. Let that trust become my resting place today. Let it wrap around me when the unknown threatens to rise again. Let it be louder than the noise of pressure, of timelines, of expectations. Let your peace become the rhythm of my heart, even when the rhythm of the world is chaos. You told your disciples, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you, not as the world gives. And now I begin to understand what you meant. The world offers temporary comfort based on circumstances. You offer something deeper, something eternal, a peace that does not bend with the wind, a peace that lives within, anchored in your presence. God, teach me to carry this peace into every part of my day, into the waiting rooms, the meetings, the lonely moments, the crowded spaces. Let it go with me like a quiet whisper that says, "You do not have to carry this alone." Let it silence the voice that says, "I am falling behind." Let it quiet the fear that tells me I will never be enough. Let it remind me that I am not just surviving, I am being kept, covered, and sustained by something stronger than me. I do not need a plan to feel peace. I need presence. I need you. And you are here. In the breath I just took, in the silence that surrounds me, in the steady pulse beneath my skin. You are here. And you are not in a hurry. You are not shaken by the things that scare me. You are not nervous about my tomorrow. And if you are not worried, I do not have to be either. This is what it means to be kept in perfect peace, when my mind stays on you, not on the outcome, not on the fear, not on the impossibilities, but on you. And when my thoughts begin to wander, when anxiety creeps in uninvited, I will come back to this moment, this stillness, this promise that peace is not somewhere far away. It is here, because you are. Sometimes peace shows up in the smallest ways, in the way light spills across the floor, in the quiet sip of coffee before the house wakes up, in a song that plays when I need it most, in a stranger's kindness, in the space between what hurts and what heals. Help me to notice it. Help me not to overlook the gentle reminders that I am safe. Even when answers delay, peace can come early. It can come like a whisper that holds back panic, like a hand that steadies mine before I reach for something I was never meant to carry, like an assurance that does not need to explain itself, only to be received. Let me be brave enough to receive it today, even if I do not feel worthy of it, even if my circumstances argue against it, even if nothing has changed yet. Because peace is not about perfection, it is about presence. And you have never left me. You are still the one who calmed the sea with a word, and you still do, not always by removing the storm, but by speaking to the waves within me, by teaching me how to rest even when the wind is loud, by reminding me that I am not alone in this boat. You are here, and that changes everything. I may not know how things will unfold, but I know who holds the unfolding. I may not see the full picture, but I know you are painting it with purpose. And so I breathe deeper. I unclench my fists. I stop rehearsing my fears and start remembering your faithfulness. This is where peace begins, not when everything is right, but when I choose to believe that you are. Let peace become my portion today, not because I have all the answers, but because I know the answer. Not because the journey is easy, but because I do not walk it alone. Let it cover my mind, my heart, my decisions. Let it be the lens through which I see this day. A peace that is not fragile, a peace that is not circumstantial, a peace that holds when nothing else can. Thank you for giving me what the world cannot. Thank you for showing me that peace is not something I earn, but something I receive. I receive it now, not in the absence of struggle, but in the awareness of your nearness. You are my peace. You are enough. And because you are here, I can face whatever comes next with a heart that is steady and a soul that is calm. Father, if peace can arrive before the answer, then I believe trust can grow before the evidence. The more I rest in your presence, the more I realize that so much of what you are doing in me is invisible, unseen, unmeasured by the metrics the world insists on. And yet, I feel it, quietly, deeply, like roots pressing down beneath the surface where no one else can see. It is not flashy, it is not loud, but it is real. I used to chase signs, hoping that something obvious would prove you were working. I thought that if I did not see movement, maybe nothing was happening. But now I am beginning to understand that some of the most powerful things you do start hidden, like seeds buried in the dark, like healing that begins beneath the scar, like transformation that takes shape long before it is revealed. Lord, help me to trust what you are building, even when I cannot measure it. Help me to believe that your silence is not absence, that the delay is not wasted time, that just because I cannot explain what you are doing does not mean you are doing nothing. You are the God who forms beauty in the unseen. You are the one who spoke stars into existence without needing applause. You are faithful, even when the work is slow and silent. I surrender my desire to understand everything. I let go of my need to track progress, as if I could quantify divine purpose. I want to trust you more deeply, not only when things are visible, but especially when they are not, because what you grow in the dark becomes the strength I need in the light. What you shape in private becomes the testimony I carry in public. Let me remember that some of the most meaningful breakthroughs are the ones that happen inside me. The softened heart, the healed thought patterns, the courage to forgive, the ability to wait. These things do not come with fireworks or recognition. They come quietly. They take time. And still, they are holy. Still, they are evidence that you are near. Father, when I feel tempted to believe that nothing is changing, remind me of the foundations you are laying. Remind me that you are not rushed by time, that you are not pressured by appearances, that you are more concerned with the condition of my soul than the speed of my progress. You are working on things that matter far beyond what I can see today, even when the doors stay closed. You are preparing me for the ones that will open, even when my prayers feel unanswered. You are reshaping my desires to align with your will, even when nothing shifts around me. You are shifting something within me, and that kind of work cannot be measured in minutes or milestones. It is sacred, it is slow, and it is strong. Teach me to embrace the mystery of what you are doing. Teach me to see this season not as stagnant, but as sacred space. A space where my identity is refined, where my hope is rooted, where my faith is stretched into something resilient. I do not want to despise the process just because I do not understand it. I want to lean into it. I want to cooperate with it. I want to trust you with all of it. You are not only shaping outcomes, you are shaping me. You are shaping the way I think, the way I respond, the way I hold on when things do not go as planned. You are removing the need for constant validation. You are teaching me how to be faithful in small things, how to worship in hidden places, how to obey without applause. And is not that what real trust is? Not just belief in what you can do, but surrender to how you choose to do it. Not just faith for miracles, but faith in the mundane. Not just hope for open doors, but peace in the hallway where I wait. That is what I long for today. A kind of trust that no longer demands a sign, but finds strength in your presence alone. When I feel restless, remind me that movement is not always progress. Sometimes stillness is where the most growth happens. Sometimes staying rooted is harder than running ahead. Sometimes remaining planted is the bravest thing I can do. So I choose to stay. I choose to believe that you are nurturing something beneath the surface that will one day bear fruit. Help me not to compare my season to someone else's bloom. Help me not to resent the hiddenness when others are being celebrated. Help me not to rush past what you are carefully cultivating. What you are building will last. And I want to last with it. I want to become someone who can carry what you are preparing. Someone who is not just gifted, but grounded. Not just useful, but yielded. Father, strengthen the parts of me that no one sees. The thoughts I do not say out loud. The doubts I try to hide. The tiredness I cover with a smile. Do your invisible work in those places. Breathe life into the buried things. Heal what I have buried, because I thought it would never change. You are not finished with any of it, and I am not too far from your reach. You are still working when I sleep, still moving when I pause, still planning when I give up. Nothing escapes your hand. Nothing is forgotten. Even the things I think I have lost, you can use. Even the places I have deemed hopeless, you can restore. So I release them all to you again, not to forget them, but to place them in the hands of the one who sees what I cannot. Let today be marked not by what I see, but by what I believe. Let my posture be one of quiet confidence. Let my prayer be a whisper of trust. Let my heart be open to the hidden ways you choose to work. Because if you are still in it, then it is still becoming something beautiful. And I want to be present for every part of the process, even the ones that do not make sense yet. You are the God who finishes what you start, the God who never stops working, even in the silence, the God who hides seeds so they can grow strong before they break the surface. So I will wait, I will trust, I will keep showing up, even when I cannot see the full picture, because I believe that what you are doing beneath the surface is just as powerful, if not more, as what will one day be seen. Father, if you are working even when I cannot see, then stillness is no longer something to fear, it is something to embrace. The more I let go of the need to see constant progress, the more I realize that your greatest work often happens when I stop striving. When I step back from trying to fix everything, when I stop running in circles and simply let myself be still with you. It is hard to slow down. Lord, everything around me says I need to keep moving. Keep proving. Keep producing. But you are calling me into something quieter. Something deeper. You are reminding me that being still does not mean being stuck. It means being grounded, anchored, aware. It means letting the noise settle so I can hear what truly matters. I have filled so many of my days with motion, thinking that activity would bring peace. But movement without meaning only makes me more tired. It is not the pace that brings rest, it is your presence. And your presence is often found in the still moments I try to avoid. When I stop filling the silence with distraction, I begin to hear your whisper again. A whisper that does not push or pressure, but gently invites. Teach me how to dwell in stillness without guilt. Teach me to see it not as wasted time, but as sacred time. The world may not applaud moments like these, but you meet me in them. You refresh me here. You reshape me here. And if I want to live from a place of peace, I have to return to this stillness again and again. God, slow me down today, not just in my schedule, but in my spirit. Quiet the rush within me. Calm the part of me that thinks everything depends on my effort. Remind me that you are God, and I am not. I do not have to carry what was never mine to hold. I do not have to earn what you have already promised. I can simply rest in your goodness, not because I have done enough, but because you are enough. Let my heart find rhythm in the quiet. Let my breath deepen. Let my thoughts settle. Let my soul lean back into the comfort of knowing I do not have to perform for you. You loved me before I ever did a thing. You chose me before I could bring anything to the table. You are not impressed by my pace. You are drawn to my presence, just like I am drawn to yours. Stillness feels unfamiliar, because I have treated rest like a reward, not a requirement. But you have made it holy. From the very beginning, you modeled rest not because you were tired, but because it was good. You paused, and you called it blessed. Help me do the same. Help me to see stillness as an act of worship, a declaration that I trust you enough to stop. When I sit in silence, meet me there. When I resist the urge to fix and solve, fill that space with your peace. When I let go of the weight I have been carrying, catch it in your hands. I do not need the world to understand this rhythm. I just need to live in it. I just need to remember that slowing down does not mean giving up. It means realigning, refocusing, returning to you. There is a grace in stillness that cannot be found in hustle, a strength that only grows in the pause. You are not rushing me. You are not measuring me by my output. You are teaching me to be with you, not just to work for you, not just to speak to you, but to be with you. And in that being, I find healing. In that being, I remember who I am again. When the world pulls me in every direction, help me return to center. When voices demand more, help me remember that stillness is not less, it is holy. When I feel behind, remind me that I am not late in your timing. I am exactly where I need to be if I am near to you. Let this stillness shape the way I live today. Let it go with me into conversations. Let it follow me into busy moments. Let it steady me when I am tempted to react. Let it become a refuge I return to, not just in the morning, but throughout the day. A place within me that is calm because you are there. God, help me find joy in the quiet. Help me discover depth in simplicity. Help me see that stillness is not the absence of purpose, but the birthplace of clarity. When I stop running, I start noticing the way light moves across the wall, the sound of leaves dancing in the wind, the warmth of a cup in my hands. all reminders that life does not have to be loud to be meaningful. This is where I learn to breathe again, not shallow breaths of survival, but deep inhales of grace. I inhale peace. I exhale pressure. I inhale your love. I exhale my striving. Each breath becomes a prayer, a silent declaration that I trust you more than I trust the rush. Stillness gives space for your spirit to speak, not in shouts, but in still, small ways that transform me from the inside out. I do not need fireworks to know you are near. I just need space. I just need surrender. I just need to stay long enough to remember that you never left. So I will make room. I will guard this stillness like treasure. I will return to it when the day becomes too loud. I will let it hold me when I feel overwhelmed. I will let it lead me back to the truth that I do not need to do more to be loved more. I am already yours. Let this be the rhythm of my heart, slow, steady, secure. Let me live at the pace of grace, not pressure. Let me move through this day from a place of rest, not rush. And when the demands try to steal my peace, I will come back to this stillness again and again until it becomes my way of life. Lord, as I rest in the stillness you have invited me into, I begin to see waiting not as something passive or empty, but as something sacred. I used to view waiting as the place between now and next, as a delay, a pause, a stretch of time I had to endure. But now I realize it can be more than that. It can become a form of worship, not just in what I say or sing, but in how I wait, in the posture of my soul, in the quiet decisions I make to trust you over and over again. Father, it is not easy to wait. It presses on my chest like something too heavy to carry. It whispers lies when I grow tired, when days stretch long without change, when prayers echo without reply. Waiting asks more of me than movement ever did. It demands faith that keeps breathing even when nothing around me seems to shift. But in this place of delay, you are teaching me something holy. You are teaching me that worship is not always loud. Sometimes it is silent endurance. Sometimes it is choosing to stay when everything inside me wants to give up. I give you this waiting, Lord, not grudgingly, but as an offering, not because I enjoy it, because I want to honor you in it. I want my waiting to reflect trust, not tension. I want it to become a sacred act, not a burden. Let every moment I remain faithful, every time I choose hope instead of despair, be counted as praise. Let my consistency be worship. Let my patience be a song you receive. I do not have to understand why it takes so long. I do not have to know how you will bring it all together. I only need to know that you are in it with me, that you see me, that you care deeply, not just about the outcome, but about my heart while I wait. So I lay down the need for immediate answers, and I lift up my trust like incense. I surrender impatience, and I choose to believe that there is beauty forming in this pause. God, shift my focus from what I lack to what you are doing in delay. Open my eyes to the strength you are growing, the dependence you are building, the pride you are softening. Help me stop measuring my days by what I receive and start seeing them through the lens of how I respond. I want to wait with grace. I want to wait with integrity. I want to wait with you, not just for what I think I need. You never waste time, even when it feels wasted to me. You use it to chisel, to mold, to purify. The fire that refines does not destroy, it transforms. So if this waiting is fire, let it burn away what is false. Let it expose the places I have relied on myself. Let it deepen the roots of my faith so that I will not be shaken by storms ahead. There are days when the silence makes me question what I heard. Days when the stillness feels like rejection. But I know you do not delay out of cruelty. You delay because there is something I cannot yet see. Something you are preparing, not just for me, but in me. You are aligning things behind the scenes. You are protecting what is not yet ready. And you are protecting me, too, from doors that would collapse if I walked through too soon, from blessings that would crush me if I was not prepared to carry them. Lord, help me to stop viewing waiting as punishment. Help me to see it as preparation, a sacred shaping, a divine pause full of purpose. And even if others move faster, even if doors open for them while I stand still, remind me that I am not forgotten. I am being refined, set apart, strengthened in quiet places that no one else can see. Let me not grow bitter in the waiting. Let me not compare my timeline to someone else's. Let me not let envy rob me of peace. What you have for me is mine. And if it is not here yet, it is because you love me too much to rush what is meant to last. You build things to endure, not to impress. And that kind of building takes time. Father, in this slow season, teach me to live fully, not to hold my breath for the next thing, but to breathe deeply right here, to love well, to serve humbly, to notice the small mercies that still surround me. Dante, let me miss the good that exists in today, because I am so focused on tomorrow. Let today's waiting be worship. Let today's breath be praise. I do not want to just survive this season. I want to honor you in it. I want to become the kind of person who worships not only in celebration, but also in stillness. Not only when dreams are fulfilled, but when they are still forming. Let me sing from the middle, not because the ending has arrived, but because you are worthy in every part of the story. Sometimes worship looks like standing when I would rather sit. Sometimes it looks like whispering thank you through tired tears. Sometimes it looks like doing the next right thing with no applause. Let it all rise to you. Let it all matter. Let it all bring glory to the one who sees what no one else does. I choose to believe that my waiting is holy ground, that it is not empty, but pregnant with promise, that you are not slow, but intentional, that you are not ignoring me, but refining me. So I will worship here, in the hallway, in the pause, in the in-between. I will lift my hands even when they tremble. I will lift my heart even when it breaks. Because you are worthy, not just when I receive, but when I wait, not just when I rejoice, but when I persevere, not just in the mountaintops, but in the valleys, not just at the finish line, but in every faithful step. This is my worship, Lord. A heart that stays when it is easier to run. A soul that believes when it would be safer to doubt. A life that says, even here, even now, You are still good. You are still God. And you are still enough. God. If waiting can be worship, then I see now that trust must reach beyond emotion. The longer I walk with you, the more I understand that feelings are real, but they are not the foundation. They come and go, they rise and fall, but faith true, anchored faith has to be something deeper, something that endures even when my heart feels confused or numb or overwhelmed. I need a faith that can last longer than the feelings that try to shake it. Father, I confess that I have often treated faith like a feeling. I've waited to feel brave before stepping forward. I have waited to feel peaceful before I trusted you with the unknown. But the truth is, some of the most important moments in my journey with you have happened when I felt nothing. When I could not sense your presence, but chose to believe you were near. When I could not see the way, but kept walking anyway. When I did not feel strong, but still whispered yes. That is the faith I ask you to grow in me now. A steady faith, a quiet faith, a faith that keeps choosing even when emotions fail to cooperate. Because feelings can be fickle, but you are not. Feelings can lie, but you remain faithful. You never change based on my mood or mindset. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that is the anchor I cling to. Lord, teach me to walk in truth even when my feelings shout something else. Teach me to declare your promises when my emotions try to drown them out. Help me to respond to you with trust, not just when I am inspired, but when I am wary. Let my commitment to you be rooted in something stronger than the high of a moment or the comfort of favorable circumstances. You never said it would always feel easy. You never promised that the path of faith would always be smooth. But you did promise you would be with me. You did promise that nothing could separate me from your love, and those are the truths I will cling to when my heart does not offer reassurance, when fear creeps in quietly or grief returns unexpectedly. I will remember that my faith is not based on how I feel, it is based on who you are. Some days I wake up full of hope. Other days I wake up with a heaviness I can't explain. But either way, I can still choose you. I can still choose to trust. I can still choose to say that you are good, even when I do not feel good. That you are present, even when I feel alone. That you are working, even when everything looks still. Let my obedience not be tied to inspiration, but devotion. Let my trust not be fragile, dependent on everything going right. Let it be strong because it is rooted in truth. The truth that you have never failed me. The truth that you are for me. The truth that your word is steady when my emotions are scattered. Let your truth be louder than the voice of fear. Let it echo through the chambers of my heart until it silences every doubt. I want to be someone who follows you through joy and sorrow, through celebration and silence, through laughter and lament. Someone who is not tossed around by every wave of emotion, but who stands on the solid ground of your promises. I want to be known in heaven as someone who trusted you not just when it felt good, but when it was hardest. Someone who kept showing up in the quiet, who worshiped through awareness, who stayed faithful when no one else could see. God, when my heart grows tired, renew my strength. When my mind feels clouded, clear it with your peace. When I am tempted to give up because I do not feel you, remind me that faith is not always about sensation, it is about allegiance. I belong to you. My soul is tethered to you, no matter what storms I face within. I will not be moved from that truth. Even Jesus, in the garden, wept and wrestled. He asked if the cup could be taken from him, yet he still said yes, even in agony. He surrendered. That is the example I look to when my emotions rage. I do not need to pretend that everything is fine. I just need to stay faithful. I just need to remain. I just need to say, not my will, but yours. Let that surrender be the song that carries me when I have no words left. Let it be the rhythm of my days, the quiet, steadfast choosing of you, over and over, no matter what I feel. And when the feelings do come, when joy returns, when passion stirs again, let them be an overflow, not a requirement. Let them be gifts, not gods. I will not chase emotion for the sake of validation. I will not wait for a feeling to confirm what your spirit has already revealed. I will not let a passing wave redefine what I know is eternal. My love for you is not shallow. It is not here for convenience. It is not built on comfort. It is built on the cross, on the sacrifice you made for me, on the truth that even when I was far from you, you still came close. So today, I walk by faith, not by sight, not by mood, not by the rise and fall of my feelings. I choose to believe even when my soul is quiet. I choose to trust even when my heart is unsure. I choose to stay grounded in you, because you are worthy of my trust on the mountain and in the valley, in the celebration and in the silence. And when I falter, when I feel shaky, when I wonder if I am doing this right, remind me that you are not looking for perfection. You are looking for faithfulness, for a heart that stays, even when it is confused, for a soul that returns, even when it wandered, for a voice that whispers your name, even when it trembles. Father, thank you for loving me beyond my emotions. Thank you for meeting me in the stillness and staying through the storm. Thank you for being a God who is constant, unchanging, and always near. That is the truth I will live by. That is the truth I will build upon. That is the faith I will carry, one that outlasts whatever I may feel. Father, if faith is more than feelings, then prayer must be more than performance. As I continue walking with you, I begin to see how easily I have let expectations shape the way I speak to you. I have worried about saying the right thing, sounding spiritual enough, or making my prayers worthy of being heard. But you are not looking for rehearsed lines or polished words. You are looking for my heart real, open, unedited. Lord, I do not want to come to you with a mask. I do not want to hide behind phrases I think you want to hear. I want to come honestly, like a child climbing into the arms of a father who does not need to be impressed. I want my prayers to be less about structure and more about surrender, less about proving something and more about connecting with you. Sometimes I catch myself filtering my words, as if you do not already know what is behind them. I hesitate to say certain things, not because they are not true, but because I think they are too messy, too small, too angry, too doubtful. but you are not afraid of my raw places. You are not offended by my humanity. You invite it, you welcome it, and you meet me there with gentleness. Teach me how to pray from the center of who I am, not from the version of me I think I am supposed to be. Help me to speak freely, knowing that you are not evaluating my tone or grading my grammar. You are listening for truth, for honesty, for the sound of a soul choosing to come close, even when it does not feel worthy, even when it does not have all the right words. God, I have made prayer complicated when it was always meant to be simple. A conversation, a connection, a breath between us. I have treated it like a task to complete instead of a relationship to enter. I have treated it like a performance to perfect instead of a safe place to be real. But now, I want to return to what it was always meant to be, a space where I can be fully known and fully loved. Let my quiet prayers count just as much as the loud ones. Let the short ones matter just as deeply as the long ones. Let my sighs be received as sincerely as my songs. You are not keeping score. You are keeping company, and that changes everything. I do not have to pray like anyone else. I just have to pray like me. Sometimes I ramble. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I can't find the words at all. And still, you stay. You interpret my silence. You hear my heartbeat. You understand the H behind my sentences and the hope inside my stumbles. What a gift to be able to talk to you without pretense, to come just as I am, and to know that is enough. Lord, help me remember that I am not praying for approval. I already have your love. I am not praying to earn favor. I already carry your grace. I am not praying to be noticed. You already see me. You saw me before I opened my mouth. You heard the cry in my spirit before a single word left my lips. So why should I hide? Why should I pretend? Why should I perform when the only thing you want is my presence? You delight in me, not in the strength of my voice, but in the fact that I came. You are not asking me to impress you. You are asking me to be with you, and that is the freedom I have longed for all along. Let prayer become my resting place again, not a performance to manage, but a home to return to. Let it be where I come when I am strong and when I am weak, when I am clear and when I am confused, when I am full of praise and when I am flooded with questions. Let it be consistent, not because I have to, but because I want to, because I miss you when I do not, because I breathe easier when I do. And when I hear the voice of comparison creep in, the one that tells me my prayers do not sound as powerful, someone else help me to silence it with truth. You are not comparing me to anyone. You are simply calling me to come close, calling me to be still, calling me to speak what is real, even when it is broken. Prayer was never about the perfect formula. It was always about proximity, and you are always near. Even when my prayers are whispered through tears, even when they come out clumsy and incomplete, even when I pause in the middle and do not know what to say next, you remain. You wait. You lean in. And that assurance gives me the courage to keep talking, to keep showing up. Father, thank you for not needing me to be perfect. Thank you for not requiring a script. Thank you for being the kind of God who invites me to stumble through sentences just to get to the place where I say, I need you. That is where connection happens. That is where intimacy begins. In the realness, in the rawness, in the recognition that I do not need to clean myself up before I speak. I just need to come. So today, I come again, without a performance, without a plan, just with a heart that wants to be with you, just with a soul that needs your nearness, just with a voice that says, here I am. And even when I have nothing else to say, let that be enough, because you are not after perfect prayers. You are after me, and here I am, real, present, honest, and fully yours. Father, if I can come to you without performing, then I can also learn to see this season for what it truly is, not as punishment, but as process. There have been so many moments where I mistook your silence for rejection, or this long journey as a consequence for something I could not quite name. But you are showing me that not every delay is discipline. Not every trial is a sign of disapproval. Sometimes, the struggle is simply the shaping. God, I know you are not out to break me down. You are out to build me deeper. But I confess, it is hard to remember that when the pressure comes, when doors close, when relationships change, when everything I thought would happen by now has not. It is hard not to internalize disappointment and call it failure. But you are patient. You are steady. You never rush transformation. And what you begin, you always finish with care. Teach me not to interpret hardship as abandonment. Let me not confuse being refined with being forgotten. You do not punish those you love. You prepare them, and preparation is not always pleasant. It stretches. It strips away what is false. It reveals what is fragile, but it also strengthens. It roots. It purifies. You are not trying to destroy me. You are drawing out the strength I did not know I had. You are revealing the parts of me that needed healing all along. Lord, help me shift the way I see what I am walking through. Help me stop asking, what did I do wrong? And instead begin asking, what are you doing right now? Help me trust that even this tension, even this ache, is evidence that you are near, working, attentive. You are not cruel with my process. You are kind with it. You are careful. You are close. I have looked at others and wondered why their paths seemed smoother, why their answers came quicker, why their growth looked easier. But now I see you are not grading my journey against anyone else. You are writing a story that is specifically mine, and some chapters must be slow because they are sacred. Some lessons can be rushed without losing their depth. You are not holding me back. You are holding me steady until I am ready. So I choose to believe that this season is not a punishment. It is a place where something unseen is being nurtured. A deeper strength, a gentler spirit, a more rooted trust. You are not interested in making me impressive. You are interested in making me whole. You are healing wounds I ignored. You are softening places I hardened to protect myself. You are rewiring thoughts that have lived too long unchecked. This is not about perfection. It is about growth, and growth always involves friction. A seed must break to sprout. A branch must be pruned to bear fruit. A heart must be challenged to learn how to love without fear. So I give you permission, Lord, to continue this process in me, even when I do not enjoy it, even when I do not understand it, even when I resist it. Keep shaping me. Let me not label this waiting as wasted. Let me not call this season barren, when you are quietly planting things underneath the surface. I know that everything you do is intentional, even when it looks invisible. So if the soil feels dry, remind me that roots are still forming. If the days feel quiet, remind me that you often speak loudest in silence. I will not confuse pressure with punishment. You discipline not with wrath, but with wisdom. You stretch not to break me, but to build capacity for the weight of the calling you have placed on me. I do not want shallow success. I want lasting transformation, and I know that comes through process, through waiting, through obedience when I do not yet see the outcome. Help me stop avoiding what feels uncomfortable. Help me lean into the shaping instead of escaping it. You are more concerned with who I am becoming than how fast I get there. And if you are more focused on the inner work, then so should I be. Let me welcome the process with reverence instead of resentment. Let me wake up each day not asking, how much longer? But rather, what are you forming in me today, God? Give me discernment to see the difference between punishment and pruning. Let me not resent the cuts when they are for my growth. Let me not run from the refining when it is rooted in love. Even Jesus walked through a process before the promise. Even he waited, wrestled, and wept before the resurrection. If he was not spared the journey, why should I expect to be? You are not distant in this process. You are deeply involved. You are the potter and I am the clay. And though the shaping can be uncomfortable, the outcome will be beautiful. I trust the pressure when it is in your hands. I trust the fire when I know you are with me in it. I trust the weight when I remember that you are working. So I release the fear that I am being punished. I let go of the shame that whispers, I am not enough. I silence the voice that says, I should be further by now. And I choose instead to see this as holy ground, the space where character is built, where motives are purified, where dependence is deepened. You are not withholding blessing. You are building a foundation strong enough to carry it. Let me be faithful here, even if no one sees. Let me keep showing up, even if I do not feel it. Let me stay teachable, even when it hurts, because I know that one day I will look back and see that what felt like delay was actually design, that what felt like breaking was building, that what felt like being held back was you holding me together. And so I stay in the process not as a prisoner, but as a participant, not as someone punished, but as someone being prepared, because you do not waste pain. You do not abandon mid-story. You are not done with me yet, and this process, no matter how slow, no matter how quiet, is proof that you love me too much to leave me as I was. Lord, the process is truly an act of preparation and not punishment. Then letting go of control must be part of that transformation. I confess, I still carry the urge to manage outcomes, to orchestrate results, to predict every step before I take the first one. But control is a burden I was never meant to bear, and the more I grip tightly to my plans, the less room I leave for yours to unfold in me. Father, I am learning that surrender does not mean giving up. It means making space. It means stepping back so you can move freely. It means laying down my timeline and trusting in your eternal perspective. But that is not always easy. My heart likes to plan. My mind finds comfort in certainty. My flesh still clings to what it can see. And yet, your spirit gently calls me beyond the visible, into the unseen realm of trust. God, I do not want to just speak of trust with my lips. I want to embody it in how I live, in how I wait, in how I respond when things do not go according to what I expected. I want to let go of the illusion that I am in control of what only you can oversee. I want to loosen my grip on outcomes, on people, on paths I once thought were non-negotiable, because holding on too tightly has only left my hands tired and my soul restless. Lord, you have shown me that control often comes from fear, not faith. Fear that if I do not take charge, things will fall apart. Fear that if I do not push, I will miss the window. Fear that if I release what I hold, nothing better will come. But fear is not my leader. It is not my guide. And it certainly is not my God. You are. And you have never asked me to fix everything, only to follow, only to believe, only to surrender. So today I come again with empty hands, not because I have lost, but because I am ready to let you carry what is too heavy for me. I open my fingers to release what I have been clenching so tightly. My expectations, my deadlines, my desire to control how others see me, or how my future unfolds. You see beyond the limitations I place around my life. You are not confined by my version of success or stability. You have better in mind, even if it does not look familiar. Teach me how to release with trust, not with resentment. Let my surrender not be laced with bitterness, but filled with quiet confidence in your care. I do not want to let go in frustration. I want to let go in freedom, because you are not taking anything from me to leave me empty. You are clearing the space to fill me with more of you, your peace, your presence, your plan. Let me remember the times you have been faithful, when what felt like a loss was actually a redirection, when what I tried to hold on to fell apart, only to make room for something truer. Let me remember that you are not fragile. My mistakes do not derail you. My detours do not confuse you. You are steady, and in your steadiness, I can rest. Help me discern the difference between obedience and over-control. When I am moving in faith, show me. When I am striving in fear, convict me gently. I want to walk in rhythm with you, not race ahead or fall behind. And if that means releasing some of the plans I have worked so hard to protect, then give me the courage to do it, even when it hurts, even when it feels uncertain, even when I have no backup plan. Lord, help me trust that surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is a sign that I know where my strength ends and yours begins. It is an act of holy dependence, of choosing your way even when I do not understand the direction. You do not need me to be in control to move mountains. You simply need me to believe that you can, and I do. I believe you can make a way even when I can see one. I believe you know what is ahead even when I feel lost in the middle. There is freedom in admitting that I do not have to know everything. There is relief in understanding that I am not responsible for writing my own story from start to finish. You are the author. You are the finisher. You do not need my perfection, just my participation. So I surrender again, not because I have failed, but because I finally realized that my need for control was never protecting me. It was holding me back from peace. Let my surrender be a song, not a sigh. Let it be an offering, not an obligation. Let it sound like trust, feel like rest, and look like faith that walks forward without needing all the answers first. Because you walk with me, you lead with gentleness, and you never waste a surrendered heart. I want to pretend this is easy. I still feel the ache of letting go. I still feel the discomfort of not knowing. But in this very space, this holy in between, I meet you. I feel you steadying my hands, calming my pulse, reminding me that control was never the goal. Connection was, trust was, obedience was. So I breathe deeply. I release again, not once and for all, but moment by moment. Each breath is a reminder that I do not run the world, and I was never meant to. You are in control, and you are good, and that is enough for me today. Even here, even now, even when letting go feels like falling, because when I fall into your arms, and there is no safer place to land. Lord, in the quiet that comes after surrender, I begin to feel the space you have made within me. It is not filled yet, not in the way I imagined it might be. There is a stillness here, a kind of waiting that stretches beyond the minutes on a clock, or the passing of a sunrise. It is the kind of waiting that tests the soul, not just the patience. And in that stretching, I feel the ache of longing rise again, longing for clarity, for answers, for movement. But even in that ache, I sense you are near. Father, waiting is one of the hardest things for me to do, because it makes me feel powerless. It strips me of the illusion that I can earn or force or arrange what I want. It takes me out of action and places me in stillness. Yet you are not idle in the waiting. You are not distant in the delay. You are working behind the veil, orchestrating details I cannot see, layering meaning into moments I might otherwise dismiss. And so I lean into you now, not to rush your hand, but to rest in your timing. God, if waiting is a classroom, then I am here, willing to learn. Teach me not just to endure the waiting, but to wait well, to wait with faith, not frustration, to wait with trust, not tension, to wait with hope that is not tied to a specific outcome, but anchored in who you are. I do not want to fill the silence with worry or drown the stillness in fear. I want to be present with you here, in this holy pause, believing that even now you are writing beauty into the story. Lord, it is easy to believe you when things are moving, when doors open, when prayers are answered quickly, when life responds to my faith with immediacy. But it is in the long days, the unseen hours, the slow unfolding, that my trust is truly tested. It is in the unanswered moments where I learn whether my hope was in the gift or the giver, whether I was following your hand or seeking only your blessings. And so I choose hope, not a thin, flimsy hope that depends on circumstance, but a steady, rooted hope that lives even when nothing changes. I choose to hope because you are good, even when I do not feel it, because you are near, even when I can sense you, because you are faithful, even when the outcome is unclear. My soul wants to rush ahead, to make something happen, to fix what feels broken, but you ask me to stay, to sit, to breathe, to believe, and so I do. Give me eyes to see the small signs of your presence in the waiting. Let me not miss the quiet miracles, the strength to rise, the peace that does not make sense, the kindness of others, the whisper of comfort. These are not interruptions to the waiting. They are the gifts hidden within it. You are not just at the end of this road. You are in every step. And if I can find you here, then I am not wasting time. I am gaining something eternal. Help me resist the lie that waiting means I am forgotten. That silence means you have changed your mind. That stillness means I have failed. You are not a God who forgets. You are a God who remembers every tear, every prayer, every sacrifice. And in your remembering, you are weaving something far more beautiful than I could build on my own. Waiting is not punishment. It is preparation. It is protection. It is the holding place where faith deepens and character forms. Let my hope be contagious. Let it spill over into how I speak, how I love, how I treat others who are also waiting. Let it soften me instead of harden me. Let it make me gentle, not jaded. Let it teach me to celebrate what you are doing in others, even if I am still waiting for my turn, because I know you are not running out of miracles. You are not limited in your blessings. What you have for me is not delayed out of cruelty, but out of careful timing that only you understand. I release my timelines again, not because I do not care, but because I know you care more. I surrender the deadlines I set, the conditions I placed on your promises, the expectations that became idols in my heart. I do not want to miss what you are doing now, because I am so focused on what is next. I want to be found faithful here, in the pause, in the hush, in the space between planting and harvest. Teach me to rest, not just to wait, to find peace in this still season, not just anxiety in the not yet. Teach me to worship even with empty hands, to say thank you even when I do not yet hold the answer, to lift my head and open my heart to whatever you are growing in this sacred silence, because I know you do not waste my waiting. You never leave me in a place where you are not also working on my behalf. Lord, I trust you in this too, in the slowness, in the stretching, in the space that feels unanswered. I trust that you are enough even when the breakthrough has not come. I trust that you are moving even when my feet are still. And I trust that one day I will look back on this moment, not with bitterness, but with gratitude for how it shaped me, for how it brought me closer to you. So I want to ask how long. I want to demand a sign. I will simply remain. I will keep showing up. Keep believing. Keep choosing to hope again and again. Not because I feel strong, but because you are. And in that trust, I will wait not with fear, but with expectation. Not with desperation, but with quiet joy. Because even here, even now, even in this waiting, you are worthy of my faith, and I will choose you again and again, as long as it takes. Father, as I remain in this sacred stillness with you, something deeper begins to stir. Beyond the waiting and the hoping, there lies a quiet H that has lingered too long. It hides in the shadows of my heart, in the places I do not speak of often, maybe not even to myself. These are not the wounds people can see. They are the ones I have learned to carry silently, the hurts I have folded into my routine, the disappointments I have dressed up as strength. But you see them. You know where they live, and you are not afraid of their weight or their silence. Lord, I bring you the pain I have buried, those places where trust was broken, where love was withheld, where harsh words left invisible scars. I bring you the moments when I felt unwanted, unseen, unworthy. Times I tried to be strong but only grew numb. I have lived with these hidden wounds for so long that I sometimes forget they are still there, but you have not. You remember every moment that left a mark, not to shame me, but to heal me. God, you are gentle with broken things. You are kind to the bruised places in our souls. You do not rush the process, nor do you demand I pretend to be whole. So today I take a breath, and in this quiet space, I let down my guard. I loosen my grip. I allow the H to rise, not to overwhelm me, but to invite your comfort in. I do not need to be perfect in your presence. I just need to be honest. So here I am, with the weight of things I thought I had moved past. But maybe you are bringing them to the surface again, not to harm me, but because you want to set me free. Free from bitterness that is still wrapped around the edges. Free from fear that keeps me bracing for another blow. Free from the lie that I deserved the hurt or that I have to carry it forever. You did not create me to live in pieces. You came to restore. Father, show me how to walk through healing, not as a punishment, but as a pathway to wholeness. Help me name the pain without being consumed by it. Help me grieve what I lost, what was taken, or what never became. Help me forgive those who hurt me, not because they asked, not because they earned it, but because I do not want their actions to have the final say in my story. I want you to have that place. I lift up to you the memories that still sting, the words that echo at night, the regret that tugs at my soul. I know you hold time in your hands, and that nothing I have lived through is wasted. I ask you to step into those memories with me. Reframe them with truth, cover them with mercy, fill them with peace. Let what once brought pain become a place where I now see your grace. Lord, remind me that healing is not forgetting. It is remembering differently. It is learning to look back without bitterness, to see your hand even in what broke me. I may never fully understand why some things happen the way they did, but I trust that your love is big enough to hold both the questions and the answers. You are not asking me to be fearless, you are inviting me to walk through my fear with you. There are parts of my story I would rather skip, moments I wish I could erase. But if you are the author, then even the hardest chapters can lead to beauty. So I bring you all of it, not just the pretty prayers or the polished praise, but the raw H and the real struggle. You are not disappointed by my wounds. You are the healer of them. Help me speak kindly to myself again, to silence the inner voice that tells me I am too broken, too late, too much, or not enough. You do not speak those words over me. You call me beloved. You call me whole. You call me yours. Let that be louder than anything else. Show me how to tend to these wounds gently, the way you do. Teach me to hold space for others who are healing too, without trying to fix them, without needing them to move faster. Let me become a safe place, not just because I have healed, because I know what it feels like to hurt. Even now, I feel your tenderness like a soft covering over me. You do not rush to mend me for appearance's sake. You sit with me in the discomfort, unbothered by the mess, steady in your nearness. There is no shame in this space, only the invitation to be fully known and deeply loved. So I lean into that love today. I trust that healing will not always look dramatic. Sometimes it is just waking up and feeling a little lighter, smiling when I did not think I could, letting go of one more heavy thought, breathing easier in a place that once felt tight with grief. You are in those quiet victories too. Thank you for being patient with me, for seeing the progress I miss, for never comparing my pace to someone else's. I know that healing is not a straight line, and some days may feel harder than others, but I won't confuse difficulty with failure. I will keep coming to you, keep laying it down, keep believing that wholeness is not just a dream, it is my inheritance in you. And even if I am still in process, even if some wounds still weep, I know I am not alone. You are here, tending the soil of my heart, planting seeds I cannot yet see. And one day, the places that once held pain will bloom with praise. Until then, I will stay with you in this healing, trusting that your love is the safest place for every broken part of me. Lord, you know how fragile trust becomes after it has been broken. And still, you gently lead me here, into this space where I can relearn what it means to believe again, not just in people or outcomes, but in your heart for me. After walking through so many disappointments, after surviving storms that left me trembling, after grieving wounds that seemed like they would never heal, you have brought me to this tender threshold. Trust. That word feels both beautiful and dangerous. And yet, in your presence, it feels safe to whisper again. Father, I do not want to live guarded anymore. I do not want to brace myself for pain, expecting the worst, even in the middle of blessing. I know that posture too well, the constant scanning for what might go wrong. The habit of shrinking joy before it can grow roots, but you did not design my soul to be locked behind walls. You made it to breathe, to stretch, to open wide in faith. So even if my hands tremble, I want to open them now, little by little, and place my trust back in yours. God, teach me what it looks like to trust you not just in theory, but in my reality. When the bills stack high and the answers come slow, when relationships fray and reconciliation seems far, when the path ahead disappears into a fog of uncertainty, That is where I want to believe, not just when things go my way, but when they do not, because you are not just the God of mountaintops. You are the God of every hidden valley. You do not only show up when I am strong, you meet me exactly where I am scared. I have been let down before by others, by myself, sometimes by expectations I placed on you without even realizing. And still, you remain, not with scolding, not with guilt, but with compassion that waits for me to return. You know that trusting again takes time, that rebuilding faith feels like walking barefoot across ground I once ran from. And you do not rush me. You simply invite me, step by step, to come closer, to rest deeper, to believe again in your unwavering goodness. Lord, help me stop rehearsing what might go wrong. Help me stop writing endings to stories you have not finished. Free me from the urge to control what was never mine to manage. Let me surrender not with fear, but with relief. Because you are not reckless with my heart. You have proven your faithfulness, not always in the way I expected, but in ways that held me together when everything else was falling apart. Father, show me how to trust you with the unknown, the waiting seasons, the unanswered prayers, the moments when silence feels louder than comfort. Remind me that silence is not absence, that even when I do not see you moving, you are never still. Your plans for me are not delayed. They are deliberate. Every detour, every delay, every door that did not open, they were all shaping me for the promise you are still writing. Help me trust that you are good, even when life does not feel that way. Help me believe that you love me, not because of what I accomplish, but simply because I am yours. Let that truth sink deeper than every insecurity. Let it be louder than every fear. Let it rewrite the stories I have told myself about being forgotten, left behind, or overlooked. I am not forgotten. I am held. God, I choose to lean into trust today, not the shallow kind that disappears in trouble, but the rooted kind that clings to you no matter the storm. Not because I always feel strong, but because I know you are. You are steady. You are near. You are for me. And even when I stumble, even when I hesitate, you do not withdraw. You draw closer. You whisper peace. You reach for my hand again. If I am honest, sometimes I think I have to be certain before I can step forward. But maybe trust looks like moving with uncertainty, knowing you will meet me with grace. Maybe it is less about having all the answers and more about resting in your presence while the questions linger. I do not need to know everything to trust the one who does. So help me breathe again. Help me unclench the parts of me still bracing for disappointment. Help me see today not through the lens of what I fear, but through the eyes of faith. Every breath is a reminder that you are still writing my story. Every sunrise is proof that hope rises again. Let trust reshape my perspective. Let it soften my tone, loosen my grip, awaken my heart. Let it lead me into deeper surrender, not because I have lost, because I have decided to stop carrying what was never mine to hold. You are my refuge, not just in trouble, but in every moment. You are trustworthy not just in hindsight, but right now, even the middle of the unknown. And though I still feel the echo of past betrayals, I refuse to let them define my future. I will not give fear the final word. I will not build my life on what hurt me. I will root myself in who you are, constant, kind, unshaken. That is where I will anchor. That is where I will rebuild. That is where I will learn to trust again. Because with you, nothing is wasted. No pain is too deep. No doubt is too strong. No heart is too broken. You are not afraid of where I have been. You are more focused on where we are going together. And so I choose trust, not because I understand, but because I believe. Not because I have certainty, but because I have you. Let that be enough for today. Let that be the foundation of the next step. Let that be my quiet courage as I walk forward. Not alone, but hand in hand with the one who has never failed me and never will, God. As I sit in this quiet moment with you, I feel the weight of time pressing on my chest, not in anger, but in longing. There is a holy H that fills the space between what I have prayed for and what has yet to come. And still, you are here, even when nothing seems to move forward. Even when I can't trace the next step, I sense you anchoring me in this pause. This space of waiting is not a punishment, is it? It is a sacred invitation, an altar where trust is refined, where surrender deepens, and where peace is born in the silence. Father, I used to see waiting as wasted time, as if the moments in between the answers were somehow empty or pointless. But now, I am beginning to see how you work in the unseen. Just as seeds break open in darkness long before the sprout meets the light, you are doing something within me that is no less miraculous. Even if I do not feel it, even if I can't explain it. Your timing, though unfamiliar, is never off. It is never cruel. It is never late. And while I may not understand the reasons, I am starting to believe that you are not just preparing the promise for me, you are preparing me for the promise. Lord, help me not confuse silence with absence. Help me not interpret waiting as rejection. I know my heart has learned that from the world, but that is not how you love. You do not grow distant when I question. You do not turn away when I wrestle with doubt. You stay close, whispering truth through the stillness. And sometimes, that quiet voice holds more power than any sign could offer, because it reminds me that faith does not grow loud, it grows deep. I confess, there are days when fear feels louder than faith. When I look at how long I have waited, and the enemy tries to convince me that it will always be this way, that nothing will change, that I have been forgotten. But you, God, are not governed by time the way I am. You stand outside of it, seeing the whole story, weaving together the threads that will make sense when I look back from the other side. And so, I choose to wait with hope, not the fragile kind that depends on quick results, but the kind that rests in your character. Unchanging, faithful, good God, teach me to live well in the in-between. Show me how to carry joy even when the door has not opened yet. Let me love deeply, serve faithfully, and praise sincerely while I wait. Waiting does not have to be passive. It can be powerful. It can be purposeful. Let it shape me into someone who does not rush past the present just to arrive at the future. Let it mold me into someone who trusts that every single day is held in your hands, no matter how unfinished it may feel. Lord, some days I feel like the Israelites walking in circles in the desert, unsure if I am getting anywhere. But you were with them in the cloud by day and fire by night. You never left. You fed them. You covered them. You led them. And you are doing the same for me, even when the landscape around me looks the same. There is movement in the waiting, spiritual movement. Heart movement. Soul transformation. I may not be where I want to be, but I am not where I used to be either. Let me lean into this season, God. Let me listen more than I speak. Let me notice the small graces you hide in ordinary moments, the way sunlight brushes the window, the way someone smiles, the way peace finds me unexpectedly. These are not accidents. These are reminders that you are near, that you are present, even now. Father, when impatience rises like a storm, calm it with the memory of your faithfulness. When anxiety creeps in, whisper again the promises you have spoken over me. Let me anchor my heart not to outcomes, but to you. Because if you are here in the waiting, then the waiting is not empty. It is holy ground, a place of becoming, a place where you meet me, not because everything is fixed, but because you love me right where I am. Help me give you my timeline. Help me stop measuring my worth by what I have achieved or what has not happened yet. Let me be still, not as someone who has given up, but as someone who is giving into your wisdom. There is rest in that. There is relief in surrender. And if I can trust you with eternity, surely I can trust you with this moment. This season, this stretch of time that feels so uncertain. Lord, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for sitting with me in my waiting room, for not rushing me to learn the lesson or skip to the ending. You are the God of slow miracles, the God of silent breakthroughs, the one who takes what feels like delay and turns it into divine timing. I may not understand it now, but I believe one day I will look back and see how every pause, every detour, every seemingly unanswered prayer was part of your loving design. So I breathe deeply now. I release my grip. I loosen the urgency that clutches at my chest. I let go of timelines that are not mine to hold. I open my hands, and in doing so, I make room for peace, for faith, for you. I choose to wait, not with dread, but with expectancy, because you are not finished. You are just getting started. And in the sacred space of not yet, I will worship. I will trust. I will lean into you again and again, until the waiting itself becomes a sanctuary, and I become someone who is no longer afraid of time, because I have learned to walk through it with you. Lord, I come before you again, not because everything is now clear, but precisely because so much is not. The waiting has softened parts of me, yes, but it has also made space for new uncertainties. The fog has not fully lifted, and the road ahead still feels undefined. Yet something deep within is learning to walk, not by sight, but by trust. It is not easy. Father, My heart still trembles with the unknown, but I find myself leaning into you, not for explanations, but for presence. And that changes everything. You know, God, how much I long for signs, for clarity that speaks loud and undeniable. I want to see the whole map before I take another step. But instead, you offer me the next step alone. A whisper, not a billboard. A nudge, not a blueprint. And I am beginning to understand that this, too, is love. Because if I had the whole picture, I might forget how much I need you along the way. If I saw every turn, I might run ahead on my own. But you are not just leading me to a destination. You are walking with me through every moment, shaping me in the journey itself. Father, when I can see the future, help me to remember who holds it. Help me to trade my craving for control with a deeper craving for your nearness. Let the lack of direction not be a source of panic, but an opportunity to anchor myself in trust. The truth is, I do not need to understand the entire plan. I just need to know the one who made it. And I do. I know you. I know your kindness. I know your faithfulness. I have seen it before, and even when my eyes are clouded now, I choose to believe it is still unfolding all around me. Sometimes the fog feels like a wall. It blinds me. It confuses me. But other times, it feels more like a veil, a sacred reminder that faith was never meant to be a matter of sight. Lord, help me to move forward even in the dim, to walk slowly if I must, but to keep walking. Let every uncertain step be one of trust, one of surrender, one of dependence. I would rather walk a foggy road with you than a bright path without you. God, it is strange how much my heart can ache for assurance, while also craving wonder. I want to know, and yet I want to be surprised. I want to plan, and yet I want to be in awe. Somehow, you hold both the author of clarity and the maker of mystery. You are not threatened by my lack of direction. You do not abandon me in confusion. Instead, you draw closer, meeting me in the wilderness with grace that does not demand understanding first. You allow me to wrestle and still call me yours. Lord, let me find beauty in this blurry season. Let me see the dew on the grass, even when I do not know where the trail leads. Let me hear the birds sing, even when I am unsure which way to go. Let me embrace the goodness that still surrounds me, instead of waiting for the fog to clear before I smile. You are not withholding joy until I figure it all out. You are offering it right here in the messy middle, in the awkward pause, in the silent morning when I still have more questions than answers. Remind me, God, of all the times you led me through what seemed impossible. How you made a way where there was none. How you lit the path, one quiet step at a time. If you did it before, you will do it again. I do not need to know how. I just need to stay close to you. The shepherd does not expect the sheep to know the way. He only asks them to follow his voice. Teach me to listen more than I analyze. Teach me to rest more than I strive. Let me trust that if the path is unclear, the guide is not. Even when I am standing still, I know you are moving. I know you are clearing obstacles I do not see, setting up divine appointments I could not arrange, redirecting what needs to be redirected. You are never inactive, even when my surroundings seem motionless. Your hands are always at work, and your heart is always for me. So let me breathe in this moment, not as a prisoner of uncertainty, but as a child resting in her Father's love. God, when I feel lost, remind me that I am not alone. When I feel behind, show me that I am exactly where you want me to be. When I question everything, anchor me again in the truth that you never change. My emotions may rise and fall, but you remain constant. You are the same yesterday, today, and forever. That steadiness is what I cling to. That unshakable love is what gives me courage. There is a quiet kind of faith that does not need lightning or thunder. It shows up in the ordinary, in the waiting, in the wandering. That is the kind I want. Not loud, not flashy, but steady, durable, real. Let it grow in me, Lord. Let it take root so deep that not even the thickest fog can choke it. Let it be my song when I do not know what is next, my compass when I do not know which way is forward. I know that one day I will look back and realize that this confusing stretch was one of the most important parts of my story, not because it gave me answers, but because it gave me intimacy with you, because it forced me to stop running and start listening, because it taught me to walk by faith, not feelings, and that is a gift no clarity could ever replace. So I keep walking, I keep praying, I keep surrendering the map I never had to carry. I choose to believe that you are not just somewhere up ahead, waiting for me to arrive. You are beside me now, as present in the unknown as you are in the revealed. And that is more than enough. God, in the quiet hush that follows my last breath of uncertainty, I begin to feel something gentle rise inside me. It is not an answer. Not yet. It is not the miracle I once demanded or the clarity I thought I could not live without. No, what rises is something smaller, so quiet it could be missed, so soft it would go unnoticed if not for this stillness you have trained my heart to hold. It is peace, barely formed, but real, and alongside it, a recognition of something I have long overlooked, the small victories. Those little moments when I did not give up, even when everything in me wanted to. Those subtle shifts in my heart that only you and I would know. Father, you know how long I have been waiting for a breakthrough that feels loud, grand, undeniable. But today, you show me that the journey is not only made up of thunderclaps and earthquakes. Sometimes the earth shifts beneath me not with drama, but with grace. Sometimes growth happens so quietly it feels like nothing is happening at all. And still, it is movement. Still, it is progress. So I pause here, Lord, not to ask again, not to strive, but to honor you are already doing, even if it is small. Help me, God, to see those hidden moments of strength for what they are, when I wake up and choose hope again. Though yesterday left me empty, that is a victory. When I forgive before my heart is ready, simply because I trust you to fill in the gap, that is a victory. When I quiet the lie that I am alone, just long enough to remember that you are near, that, too, is a victory. These are the quiet triumphs that do not make noise, but change the shape of my soul. Lord, I have spent so much of my life waiting for the next big thing, the next clear sign, the next burst of joy. But I see now that joy often arrives disguised as something ordinary, a peaceful breath, a smile that does not carry weight, a thought that no longer hurts, the strength to rise and try again. Though nothing on the outside has changed, these are your gifts, and I do not want to miss them anymore. Show me how to celebrate without fanfare, to rejoice in the unseen work you are doing in my heart. You are chiseling away fear, piece by piece. You are sewing new threads of resilience through the parts of me I once thought were torn forever. You are gently stretching my patience, deepening my trust, steadying my spirit. These are not things I can measure with my eyes, but I can feel them in the quiet spaces of my soul. And they matter. Lord, you are not just answering prayers. You are forming me. Sometimes I look back at days that seemed uneventful, only to realize now that they were sacred. Days when I simply kept going. Days when I prayed even though I felt numb. Days when I loved, though I did not feel loved in return. Days when I walked forward, unsure of where I was headed. In the eyes of the world, they may not look like much, but in your eyes, they shine, because you know what it costs to keep believing when the fruit is not yet visible. God, help me not to dismiss my own journey just because it is quieter than someone else. Help me to stop comparing the rhythm of my healing to someone else's highlight reel. Let me honor the work you are doing in me without rushing to make it look more impressive. You are not interested in performance. You are shaping something lasting, and lasting things take time. Let me become okay with that. I want to celebrate the days when I simply do not quit. The mornings when I rise, wary but willing. The nights when I lay down my fears instead of letting them grow. The moments I speak truth over my life when lies feel louder. These are the bricks that build a life of faith. These are the whispers of strength that carry me forward, even when the crowd is gone and the noise is silent. Thank you, God, for helping me hear them now. You remind me, Lord, that even your most powerful movements often began in secret. A baby in a manger, a prayer in a garden, a whisper in a cave. You have never been afraid of small beginnings. Why should I be? If you rejoice over one sheep returning, then surely you smile when I take one faithful step. Let me tune my heart to rejoice with you, not because everything has changed, but because I am learning to be changed myself. And when I am tempted to overlook the good because it is not yet great, remind me that faithfulness in the little is what makes room for more, that every step counts, that I am building something eternal, even in my small acts of trust. Help me speak words of gratitude instead of impatience. Help me live today as a holy offering, not a rehearsal for tomorrow. God, some days still feel unfinished. Some prayers feel half-answered. Some dreams feel paused. But even then, let me say, I am not who I was. And that is reason enough to be grateful. That is a testimony. Even if no one else sees it, you see it, you see me. And that makes even my smallest victories worth celebrating. So I continue, not with a parade, but with a quiet smile, not with certainty, but with peace, not with perfection, but with presence, yours and mine. That is what matters most, and that is what gives me the courage to step into this day with gratitude in my hands and hope, no matter how fragile, tucked gently into my heart. Lord, I come before you with a heart still soft from yesterday as quiet celebration. As I sat in the stillness of small victories, something unexpected began to stir strength. Not the kind that shouts or demands attention, but the kind that wakes gently, like morning light peeking through closed curtains. It is not loud, but it is there, pulsing through my spirit like a steady heartbeat that refuses to fade. I did not even know it had taken root until now, but you did. You were planting it long before I could feel it. You were growing it deep while I was focused only on surviving. God, how often have I underestimated what you were building in me because it did not look like strength from the outside. I thought strength had to be loud, unshakable, fearless. I thought it meant never feeling broken or afraid. But now, I realize it is something else entirely. Strength looks like showing up, even when my hands are trembling. It looks like speaking gently when anger would be easier. It looks like trusting your plan even when I do not understand it. And suddenly, I see I have been stronger than I thought, not because of who I am, but because of who you are in me. Father, you remind me that true strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the presence of grace in the midst of it. It is choosing to stay rooted when everything in me wants to run. It is standing still while the storm rages, knowing I am held. And sometimes, it is simply reaching for you when the weight feels too heavy. That reaching, that leaning, that crying out, it is strength. And it is sacred. I thank you for redefining what it means to be strong. There have been days when I have looked at my reflection and seen only weariness. When the lines on my face told stories I did not want to read. When my eyes carried silent battles no one else could name. But you saw more. You saw the battles I fought in the dark. You saw the prayers whispered through clenched teeth. You saw the choice to hope again, even when hope felt foolish. And to you, those moments were not small. They were the foundations of courage. You were there for every tear I did not let fall, every breath I chose to take when I wanted to give up. You stood beside me, not with judgment, but with quiet affirmation. I was growing. I was becoming. I was learning how to endure. Lord, help me now to recognize and embrace the strength you have already woven into me. Let me not wait for someone else to validate it or define it. Let me not wait for a badge or a platform or a finish line. I am strong not because I win every battle, but because I do not let them define me. I am strong not because I do not fall, but because I keep rising with your hand lifting me every time. That is what matters. That is what changes everything. Today, give me eyes to see that strength in the ordinary, in the mother who keeps loving without being thanked, in the father who rises early to carry burdens no one else sees, in the friend who listens without needing answers, in the stranger who smiles though their heart is breaking. These are the unsung heroes of your kingdom, God. Let me learn from them. Let me walk among them with honor in my heart, knowing we are all carrying pieces of your light inside us, even when the world calls it weakness. Teach me to speak strength into others, too. Let my words be like water for the thirsty, reminders that they are not alone, that they are not forgotten, that they are capable of rising again. Let me be someone who notices the effort it takes just to keep going, who cheers for the silent battles, who celebrates the courage it takes simply to believe that tomorrow can be better. God, I used to pray for strength as if it were something I lacked, but now I see you have been growing it in me all along. In every disappointment I survived, in every door that closed but taught me something new, in every relationship that stretched me, refined me, brought me back to my knees, in every failure that humbled me, in every success that did not fill the emptiness. You were there, shaping me not just to withstand the storm, but to become a shelter for others one day. Let me carry that strength today, not with pride, but with humility. Let me walk through this day knowing that I am not empty, that I am not weak, that I am not forgotten. I am filled with the breath of the one who spoke galaxies into being. I am held by hands that have never failed. I am walking in the legacy of a love that chose me long before I could ever choose it in return. Even now, when doubt whispers again, let my soul remember, strength does not always roar. Sometimes, it is the quietest voice inside me that says, "Keep going. I am with you." Let that be enough. Let that be my anthem. Let that truth carry me into whatever comes next, with feet planted firmly in faith and a heart that knows it is never alone. So I step forward not because everything is clear, but because I know you are here. Not because I have all the answers, but because I trust the one who does. And that is strength. That is the miracle. That is the victory I carry into this new morning. Lord, as I sit with the strength you have quietly built within me, I realize that the next step in this journey is not just about what I can carry, but what I must learn to release. There is a sacred kind of surrender that does not mean giving up, but instead means letting go of control, of timelines I have crafted, of expectations I have held too tightly. Father, it is one thing to trust you in the waiting, it is another to release my grief and believe that your timing is not just better than mine, but holy, divine, and perfect in ways I can yet see. God, I admit that I have clung to certain outcomes because I thought they were the only answers that would bring peace. I have made idols out of my own plans, and when they crumbled, I called it failure. But now I see, perhaps they fell apart to make room for what you had always intended. Your timing often does not match the urgency in my heart, but that is where faith must rise, not in understanding every delay, but in trusting that even the pause is part of your process. Lord, help me trust the pauses. Sometimes, I have asked you for open doors and then stood in confusion when nothing moved. I have prayed for breakthroughs and felt silence instead of answers. But maybe the silence was not absence, it was preparation. Maybe you were teaching me to walk by trust, not by sight. Maybe you were pulling me closer, inviting me into deeper reliance on you. Not just on what you can give. That is hard to admit. Lord. But I need to name it, because I long for freedom. I long to breathe in the peace that comes from fully placing my life in your hands, not just in words, but in truth, in action, in surrender. Father, there are things I carry that no longer serve me, wounds I have nurtured far too long, fears that masquerade as caution, stories I have told myself that are rooted in pain, not truth. I release them now, not because they do not matter, but because they have already done their work. They have revealed my need for healing. They have shown me where my trust falters. And now, in this moment, I choose to lay them down, not because I am strong enough on my own, but because I trust you enough to let them go. You are not asking me to be fearless. You are asking me to be faithful. Help me, God, to surrender without fear of loss, to believe that letting go does not mean abandonment. It means invitation. It means I am making space for something greater, something eternal, something rooted in love that does not expire when circumstances shift. I want that kind of love to lead my decisions, my responses, my path. I want to be someone who trusts you enough to wait without bitterness and to move when you say move, even if I do not see the full picture yet. There is something liberating, Lord, about realizing I do not have to orchestrate every moment. I do not have to push, perform, or prove anything to be loved by you. I can rest in the knowledge that your plans for me are not fragile. They are not dependent on my perfection. They are grounded in your grace, and your grace does not fail. When I lean into that, I find rest, and in that rest, I find the courage to release what I cannot control. Sometimes, what I am holding on to the tightest is the very thing that is keeping me from healing. The expectation, the timeline, the way I thought things should be. But Lord, you are not bound by my understanding. You are not limited by my deadlines. You move outside of time, yet you are never late. That is what I hold on to now, not my plan. Yours, not my pace. Yours, not my striving. Your sufficiency. So here I am, Lord. Open hands, open heart. I give you my desire to fix, to hurry, to grasp. I give you the dreams I do not know how to build, and the ones I have watched fall apart. I give you the longing that still aches, and the faith that sometimes flickers. Take it all, and do with it what only you can. Shape it. Breathe life into it. Use it for your glory, in your time. Let me find joy not just in answered prayers, but in the waiting itself. Let me see you not just in the miracle, but in the mundane. Let me trust that even when nothing seems to be changing on the surface, you are moving in the unseen places. You are aligning, restoring, softening, preparing. You are never inactive. You are always intentional. God, remind me that trusting you does not mean I stop dreaming. It means I release the outcome. It means I follow the cloud by day and the fire by night, without needing to know the destination. It means I stop measuring progress by what I see and begin measuring it by how deeply I am learning to depend on you. That is real growth. That is real faith. That is the kind of transformation that lasts. So today, I breathe in trust and exhale control. I walk forward not with a map, but with a guide. I make peace with the unknown, because I know the one who knows all. I make peace with the waiting, because I believe you are worth it. And I make peace with letting go, because I believe what you have for me is better than what I have been trying to hold onto. Let this surrender not be a one-time act, but a daily posture, a rhythm of release and renewal. A quiet, holy courage that whispers through every decision, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you. Father, you see who I truly am even when I struggle to see it myself. You formed every part of me with intention, with purpose. And yet, so often I find myself doubting the design. After pouring out all the things I have tried to let go of, after loosening my grip on what I cannot control, what lingers in me now is the quiet question, who am I becoming in all of this? And I sense you answering not with judgment, but with grace. You whisper not just who I should be, but who I already am when I am fully anchored in you, not who the world says I must be, not who my fears try to shrink me into, but the version of me that rises in peace when I stop striving. Lord, I realize now that becoming is not about achieving some perfect version of myself. It is not about collecting successes or erasing all weakness. It is about peeling back the layers that life, pain, and pride have placed on top of the soul you already called good. It is about remembering what you see when you look at me, a child, beloved, not because of what I have done, but because of who I am in you. You do not wait for me to get it all together before you call me yours. You do not require polished strength. You welcome honesty. You welcome hunger. You welcome my desire to grow, even when it is messy, even when I am unsure. God, it is hard sometimes to silence the voices that tell me I am behind, I am not enough, I am failing. But I know now that you never speak in shame. You correct with compassion, and you lead with clarity that never condemns. So I ask you to help me become someone who listens more to your voice than the noise around me. Someone who walks in confidence, not because I have everything figured out, but because I am held by the one who already knows the outcome. Help me not rush past this season of becoming, but to lean into it, to treat my growth with gentleness, knowing that healing takes time, and transformation is a holy process. Father, sometimes I look around and compare my life to others. I see what they have accomplished, what they have built, and I wonder why my road feels slower or more uncertain. But then you remind me that no two stories are the same. And comparison is not the soil where faith grows. Instead of comparing, I want to celebrate. Instead of measuring, I want to trust. You are not behind schedule in my life. You are not lost in the details. You are doing something specific in me that can be rushed. And if it takes longer, it is only because the roots are going deeper. I want to become someone whose life grows from deep, steady roots, not shallow appearances. Lord, help me to see my current season, not as a delay, but as a preparation, not as punishment but as refinement, not as silence but as intimacy with you. You are not just shaping my circumstances. You are shaping my character, teaching me patience, compassion, wisdom, and grace. You are stretching my capacity to love, to forgive, to believe, even when the outer signs are quiet. The inner work is loud, and I want to be part of that process, not just endure it, but embrace it. I do not want to resist the becoming. I want to bloom inside of it. God, you know the areas where I am still hesitant, where I shrink back, afraid to step into all that you have placed in me, the dreams I have buried, the gifts I have doubted, the voice I have silenced because I was not sure I was worthy to use it. But I know you did not create me to hide. You did not call me to live small or apologetic. You called me to shine not with pride, with purpose, to reflect your light, not because I am perfect, but because your spirit lives in me. So today, I ask you to ignite what has been dimmed, breathe on what has gone cold, revive what I have abandoned, and remind me that every step I take in faith, no matter how small, is part of who I am becoming. Let this be a season of returning, not just to dreams, but to identity, to truth, to the core of who I am when I am fully aligned with your heart. Strip away the false labels, the roles I thought I had to play, the masks I have worn to survive. I do not want survival anymore. I want freedom. I want wholeness. I want to be fully alive in you. So whatever it takes, Lord, do it. Whatever you need to uproot, remove it. Whatever you need to plant, I make space. Whatever you need to heal, I open myself to it, even if it hurts, because I trust the hands doing the healing. Father, becoming who made me to be means learning to let go of who I thought I had to be. It means unlearning fear and relearning faith. It means choosing peace even when the path is still foggy. It means choosing joy in small moments, strength in vulnerability, and hope in places that once felt barren. It means learning to see myself through your eyes, to stand taller, not in arrogance, but in awareness of who I am in your kingdom, to speak softer when needed, louder when called, and always with love. I want my life to be a reflection of your mercy, not just in what I do, but in how I carry myself, in how I forgive, in how I wait, in how I believe. There is something sacred about becoming. It is not loud or flashy. It is hidden in the quiet work of the heart, in choices made in secret, in prayers whispered when no one sees, in courage to keep showing up, even when the results are not visible yet. I want to become someone who trusts that you see what no one else sees, that you reward what no one else applauds, that you are faithful to complete the good work you began in me, even when I can see how you are doing it. So I rise today not with all the answers, but with a willing heart, not with a finished picture, but with a brush in hand and faith in the artist. I walk forward not in perfection, but in pursuit of you, of truth, of the version of me that was always meant to rise. Lord, as I continue to rise into this day, I feel the quiet but steady momentum of becoming the slow unfolding of something deeper within me. from the stillness of surrender to the courage of trust, from the soft flame of hope to the steady light of identity. You have been with me through it all. Now, as I place my next step on the path ahead, I find myself standing on the edge of what I cannot yet see. The unknown stretches before me like a sea without a map, and my heart, though willing, trembles slightly at the vastness of it all. Father, I do not ask that you show me everything, but I do ask that you walk beside me through everything. I know now that faith is not built in certainty, but in the quiet decision to move even when the outcome remains hidden. So as I step into this day, unsure of all the details, I rest in the truth that you go before me, that you walk behind me, that you are already in the moment I am afraid to face. You see what I cannot, and that alone is enough reason to breathe deeply and move forward. God, I admit that part of me still longs for guarantees. I want signs that I am going in the right direction, proof that I won't fail, evidence that my heart won't be shattered again. But you remind me that faith is not about avoidance of risk, it is about presence in the risk. It is about saying yes to the journey, even without a destination stamped on a map. It is about choosing to believe that if you brought me here, you will not abandon me here. So even when I feel unqualified, even when I feel too small, even when I fear the weight of what is ahead, I will take the next step, not because I am fearless, but because I am loved. Lord, teach me how to walk slowly through the unknown. Teach me not to sprint toward resolution, just to quiet my anxiety. Teach me to sit in the middle of mystery and know that you are there too, that the questions I carry are not burdens in your eyes, that the silence does not mean absence, that the waiting is not wasted. I want to walk with eyes open, not just to what is coming, but to what you are doing right now, in the small things, in the unseen things, in the moments that look ordinary but are actually sacred. Sometimes, God, I forget that the unknown is where miracles begin, that breakthroughs often come from places that first feel like breakdowns, that clarity usually follows obedience, not the other way around. Help me to remember that I am not lost just because I do not know every turn. I am not behind just because I have not arrived. I am not broken just because I feel fragile. The unknown does not mean I am alone. It means I am being stretched, expanded, invited to grow in ways that safety could never demand of me. Father, help me to keep my heart soft even when the road is hard. Let me not become numb or bitter in the waiting. Let me not build walls where you are trying to build trust. Let me not turn back to the familiar just because the unfamiliar feels scary. You did not call me to comfort. You called me to courage. And that courage is not loud. It does not need applause. It simply needs consistency. It simply needs a yes, even when I can see the full picture. I want to be faithful in what is in front of me, in the conversation that needs grace, in the task that needs attention, in the moment that needs kindness. Help me to bring light wherever I walk today, even if I am walking through fog. Help me to be fully present, not rushing to the next thing, but engaging with the now. Because the now is where you meet me. The now is where peace resides. The now is where trust is formed. God, when I feel wary, Remind me that strength is not about always standing tall. Sometimes strength is in the kneeling. Sometimes it is in the crying. Sometimes it is simply in the refusal to quit. And you honor that kind of strength. You honor the heart that keeps choosing you, even when the feelings do not align. You honor the small steps, the quiet prayers, the private battles no one sees. Let me not measure this journey by outward signs alone, but by inward growth, by the way my heart becomes more anchored, more free, more whole in you. Father, I choose to walk in faith today, not because the path is easy, but because the one leading me is trustworthy. I choose to believe that what feels like delay is not denial, that what feels like a detour may actually be divine, that the wilderness is not punishment but preparation. I choose to believe that the dreams I carry are not forgotten, that the seeds I have sown in tears will bloom in due season, and I choose to keep going. One breath, one step, one yes at a time. You are not calling me to have all the answers. You are calling me to walk with you, to wake up each day and say, even here, even now, I choose to trust. That trust might look different each day. Some days it is brave declarations. Other days it is quiet surrender. But all of it is worship. All of it matters. All of it brings me closer to you. So if I wander, pull me back gently. If I grow anxious, center me in your peace. If I forget the progress I have made, remind me how far you have brought me. And if I get tired, carry me through. Let nothing in this unknown space be wasted. Not my pain, not my joy, not even my questions. Use every part of this journey to shape me, to anchor me, and to make me more like you. Lord, as this morning prayer reaches its final breath, I find myself not at an end, but standing quietly at a threshold, a place where stillness and motion meet, where reflection and anticipation touch hands. I began this journey seeking direction, peace, courage, and clarity. And though the road was sometimes winding and the skies not always clear, you remain the constant, the heartbeat beneath my fears, the whisper beneath my doubts, the light that never flickered, even in the shadowed corners of my soul. And now, in this quiet hour, with the day fully opening its arms, I simply rest in the nearness of your presence. Father, I do not carry every answer, and maybe I never will, but I carry something richer, this awareness of you, that now breathes deeper than words. You have shown me that prayer is not performance. It is not perfection. It is not even about having the right phrases. It is simply presence. It is letting you in, letting you see me as I am. And in that space, where honesty meets grace, something sacred grows. Something resilient, something gentle and brave. And I know now that I do not have to be loud to be heard. I do not have to be strong to be held. I do not have to be certain to belong. I only need to be willing to return, willing to sit, willing to breathe. God, as I prepare to step from this stillness into the rhythm of the day, I carry with me the echoes of all that has been spoken in silence, the longings I did not have words for, the tears I did not let fall, the hopes I was afraid to admit. And you heard them all, You gathered them like small stones, gently placing each one into the foundation of what you are building in me. You are not in a rush. You are not counting my failures. You are not disappointed in my pace. You are here, patiently unfolding the layers of my story, and I find comfort in knowing I do not have to speed up to catch up to you. You meet me right where I am. There is something holy about beginnings, but there is also something sacred about what continues after the beginning is over. The quiet commitment to return again and again, to choose trust again and again, to sit in the tension between what is and what is still becoming. That is where transformation takes root, not in the lightning strike, but in the consistent rain, not in the dramatic leaps, but in the faithful steps. And so I pray now not for dramatic change, but for gentle, lasting growth, for the kind of strength that holds steady, even when it is unseen, for the kind of faith that breathes, not performs, for the kind of joy that hums beneath everything, not only when circumstances are bright. Lord, I have learned to value the unseen, the quiet acts of love, the invisible prayers whispered in a kitchen or cried in a car, the unseen sacrifices, the unnoticed victories, the silent yes when it would have been easier to quit. These things matter to you. They are not small. They are not forgotten. You see it all. And in a world that often measures worth by what can be shown, you remind me that depth is more important than display, that honesty is greater than polish, that being real with you is more beautiful than pretending I have it all together. Father, I want to walk through today with a soul that is not hurried, with hands that are open, with eyes that see beyond what is loud and into what is lasting. Help me to notice people, to pause when someone needs my attention, to respond with kindness instead of impulse. Let me not chase moments for my own gain, but offer moments that carry peace. Let my presence be a place where others feel safe, even if only for a moment. Let me carry what you have planted here in prayer out into the places that need healing, comfort, and grace. Let this prayer not end with words on a page, but ripple into how I speak, how I listen, how I forgive, and how I love. Let this not be the finish of something, but the quiet continuation of a conversation with you that never really stops. You are not confined to these early hours. You are not bound by the sound of my voice. You walk with me through every hallway, every silence, every unexpected detour. I do not leave you here when I stand up. I take you with me. You are the presence in my thoughts, the calm in my breath, the rhythm in my steps. And for that, I am endlessly thankful. God, I do not know what this day will hold. There may be joy or tension, laughter or loneliness, ease or ache. But whatever comes, remind me of what has already been sown in this sacred space. The seed of quiet confidence, the root of peace, the branch of hope reaching toward light. Let me return to this place again and again, not out of duty, but out of desire, because meeting you here changes how I meet the world. Let me be slow to speak, but quick to understand. Let me be grounded when things feel out of control. Let me be humble enough to admit when I am wrong, and brave enough to keep going when it would be easier to numb out. You are not far away. You are not only in the grand or the obvious. You are here in the pause between words, in the warmth of sunlight through a window, in the quiet stirring of a soul that has learned how to be still. So as I lift my head and step into the hours ahead, let this final breath of prayer be a beginning. Let it be a door opening into awareness. Let it be a stream flowing into every corner of my life. Let it be light breaking over the horizon, soft and steady, bathing the world in gold. Let it be a morning breeze that brushes gently across the heart, reminding me I am held, reminding me I am loved, reminding me I am never walking alone. Thank you for walking this journey of prayer to the end. If these words have stirred something in your spirit, I invite you to share your reflections or your own prayer below. Let this space become a garden of voices, each one blooming in its own unique faith. And if you found peace here, share this video with someone who needs the same. Subscribe to our channel to keep this light alive, and be part of a community that believes in the power of prayer to transform every morning, every heart, and every life. Let your faith rise with each dawn. Let it ripple outward like water. Let it shine quietly, like the first light of morning across the hills.